Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert for our 10,000 subscriber celebration. Talk about unreal. Talk about unreal. Talk about an unbelievable milestone. Talk about the excitement, man. We are so pumped to be out here on this live stream with you guys tonight. Not only talking college football, but kind of just recapping the journey to get to this point. Obviously, showing our gratitude and appreciation to every single one of you that have helped make this dream a reality and have helped build up this channel. Every single one of you that is a vital, important, key part of this GE Nation. So we're so pumped to have you guys out here tonight. Who knows how long we're going to go on for, but we are very, very stoked, very excited. Not very often you get to have a live stream with this type of occasion. So Will Lou, good to see you, man. Go Rutgers, right? I know, I think it was Trace Commas over here. He's a Rutgers fan too. So 2-0, probably going to be 3-0 with a win over Temple. Maybe 4-0 with a win over Iowa, which we actually predicted. So Rutgers looking really, really good. Will, also want to give you a shout out, man. You and I, we're friends on Instagram. I love seeing the food reviews, man. It makes me want to move up to the East Coast and go eat at all those places that you've been going to. So big fan of your food reviews and seeing all the places you get to go travel and all the places you get to go check out. Scotty B, guy's been here forever. Biggest Baylor fan I know. If I ever want any sort of Baylor news, I'm not going to go to Twitter or, a Baylor Instagram page. I'm going to go to Scott. I'm going to go to him first because he knows it. He's going to be the first guy to hook me up. Trace Commas, good to see you as well. Will Burrow, appreciate it, my man. I hope you're doing well down in Texas. Super pumped to see you tonight and appreciate you and all your support. Same with Benjamin Orman. Benjamin's given us crap before. He's been a very big critic of the Gridiron Expert, but he's still an important part of the nation. We appreciate him. CCD as well, big part of our Discord server. Big Maryland fan, looking good. Terps could be in the top 25 if they take down SMU. SBO Kennels, boom. We appreciate you, my man. SBO Kennels hooking us up, buying those expert picks the other night, and has been a major part for the last few years as well. Same with Cyclone Mitch. Clearly, he's a moderator. What's going on, Mitch? Good to see you, man. Hope school's going well. Hope the season's going well. Gotta be pumped, right? 2-0 for Iowa State. Big win over Iowa. So super pumped about that for you. I was thinking about you when I was watching that game and how pumped I was for you and Cyclone Steve, wherever he may be. He's always running around, but very happy for you guys. And obviously this season might be a little bit better than maybe some expected. Who else we got? We got Flobe on here. I appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Eugene Murphy, Matthew Hazelhorst. I appreciate you and all your support. Big time K-State fan, baby, who we have ranked in our top 25 in at number 23. Kansas State looking really, really good. Our Big 12 sleeper team. Let's see who else. Robert Sharpton, Comic Dude, another big Rutgers fan. So 3 Rutgers fans in the chat. How about that? If we get DM in here, if DM pops in sometime tonight, we'll have 4 big Rutgers fans in the chat. So really excited about that. But Comic Dude, he's been here forever. I appreciate you and all your support. Robert Sharpton, Stephen Cuffey, Eddie Sanchez, Monster Jam's finest. The suit is fine, Matthew says. We got to dress up for an occasion like this, baby. We got to dress up really nice. It's been a while since we brought it back out, so I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. But I appreciate Monster Jam's finest. Eddie Rose, good to see you. Shout out Stephen Cuffey. I think I say everybody else. Eddie Sanchez as well. So we'll have plenty of other people that are probably joining throughout the night that will definitely, make sure to address. Sam Stouffer popping in here, BYU fan. Sam, we appreciate you. Guys, we appreciate all of you. We're going to take your questions. We're going to take your comments. We're going to talk college football. But, one thing we want to talk about tonight, obviously tonight is a major reason for celebration. Right now we're sitting at close to 10,050. So we hit, 10,000 just the other day, and we got another quick 50 just like that. I mean, talk about growth. One thing for us that, we've probably talked about before on the stream, it is pretty crazy when you realize this all kind of started as a little quick pipe dream, right? Like this wasn't supposed to take off the way it did. We did the Gridiron Expert, God, what was it, 5-6 years ago when we started this thing. Just as almost like a hobby, right? For those of you that want to know about the journey, right? I really got into football when I was around 9 years old. That's when that's the first season I remember fully watching. And those of you that know me well, I'm an Arkansas fan. We don't shy away from that. And so 2009, I remember watching every game for Arkansas, and that was my first season I fully remember. And as the years went on, I would do predictions. I would share my opinions and thoughts and things like that with friends and family, and those predictions ended up being pretty good. It was bold takes, hot takes that would actually come true. It was something that my summers, kids are. Yeah, I did normal summer things, right? I'd go to the pool, I'd hang out with people, right? But I was also studying college football. And eventually I said, you know what, why sit there? Why do we sit here and just do this as a hobby? I have notebooks full of notes from when I was younger. Why don't we take this and make something of it? Well, let's go to YouTube, one of the biggest outlets out there to share, content and opinions and analysis and knowledge. So we launched the channel. And that wasn't supposed to take off. That a lot of times I think there were a lot of YouTubers out there that you start your channel, you start your journey, and after a while it's fun, but then life gets busy, or you realize, hey, I just don't want to do this anymore, and you quit, right? And for some reason that never happened for me. That never was the case. I remember one night, shortly after we started the channel, the first year we did predictions was 2017. Our game by game predictions for every Power 5 team. The first year we did that was 2017, and overnight, one night, we got 200 subscribers. In one night. I don't remember what video it was that caused that to happen. But when that happened, I check my analytics every morning. I go, holy cow, this could actually turn into something. This could become something decent. And through you guys, through the guys that have been there since day one, back in 2017, through now, the guys that were there then, the guys that maybe joined yesterday, who knows when you became a part of our nation, that fueled us to keep going. That fueled me to keep going, to keep making videos, to keep doing live streams, to find ways to expand and continue to build not just the channel, guys, but ultimately what we've done here is we've built a community. And that's been really, really special. I think that's something that, we have a lot of great college football channels out there. We got a lot of great analysts out there, but the goal from us here at the Gridiron Expert was to do a couple things. Was one, to always be unbiased, right? Like I said, we're an Arkansas fan, but you're not going to see us on here bashing other teams that maybe Arkansas played or is a rival of. We are not going to, bash other SEC teams. We're going to be unbiased. We want to be accurate. We want to be fair. And ultimately, guys, what we wanted to do is we wanted to give you something that you're not going to be able to find on TV. Something that you're not going to be able to find on ESPN or Fox or CBS or whatever that is. And maybe something that you might not be able to find on other channels, right? That's what we want to do. We wanted to build what we call now the GE Nation. We wanted to build a GE Nation. We wanted to build a community. We wanted to build a family. And I really believe that's what we've done. Even the guys that many of you I've never even met in person, but I feel like I know you guys extremely well. And that doesn't just happen by luck. That doesn't just happen, just by chance. That takes a lot of work and commitment, not just on my end, but y'all's end as well. And so it has been a crazy, crazy winding road. And yeah, we know, 10,000 is not 100,000. We don't get a big YouTube plaque yet. Maybe one day we will. But to reach the 5 digits, to reach this point and to see the growth over all grand scheme of things, a very short amount of time, it's pretty dang special. And we know for a fact that it would not have been possible, and we might not be sitting here right now if it wasn't for your support, for your help, for everything that you guys have done for us over the years here at the Gridiron Expert. We could not be more grateful, and we are so excited to be able to sit here in front of you and talk tonight. A couple of things that I've actually thrown up here on our server here. I'm going to pull them up for it. We started this thing back in 2017, right? 2017 is when we really launched this thing. You want to talk about a glow up. You want to talk about some changes that have happened here at the Gridiron Expert, right? Now, we've changed the looks. We've changed the content. We've got a website. We've improved so many different things over the years. But look at the glow up here. I mean, my God. Talk about change here. 2017 on your left. This was the one on your right. Maybe something that we filmed last week. Man, that's rough. That is hard to look at. So you take a small little high schooler. The voice was different. The suit was different. The haircut, the face, everything just so different. And then go to your right, kind of what we're looking like now. Though I made sure to get a nice cut and shave before we got onto this occasion. But wow, Talk about crazy. So this video on your left was probably, I don't even know what video that was, but it's a little grainy. Shows you how old it was. But maybe less than 1,000 subscribers, somewhere around there. Very, very young, very early stages of the channel. And then the one on the right. So a couple things have changed, a couple haven't. But man, as we say, what a glow up, really. Hard to see. But guys, over the years we've obviously, had a great many opportunities here at the channel that, again, wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Through the growth of the Gridiron Expert, we've had the opportunity to go travel to different games and travel to different stadiums, on-site predictions, although we didn't get to do any this last summer, is something that we really enjoy getting to do. Last year we did, Texas and Texas A&M and LSU and places like that. We've done... God, what else? We went out west. We've done BYU. We did an on-site prediction at BYU. We did Utah. So we did a couple Pac-12 schools out there. We've done many within the SEC. And actually, there was one where we actually went to, before the Gridiron Expert started, man, I wish we'd had it then. We had been to Alabama. We had been to Auburn. Trying to remember where else we've been in terms of that, in that sense. We've been to Clemson, places like that. Places that we plan on definitely going back soon and being able to film and give you guys those on-field, on-site predictions. But we've been to Notre Dame, we've been to Wisconsin, we've been to Northwestern. So many different big-time stadiums and big-time programs that we were lucky enough to go to, and from those places get those tours and behind-the-scenes looks that we were able to give you right here on the channel. And that's not something that's possible again without you guys. Just like this wasn't possible either. Talking about that, a trip to ESPN, a demo reel with L. Duncan. How about that? I mean, we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to get to post that. On YouTube, our demo reel with her and being on ESPN with her, obviously getting to tour ESPN, doing those things. We got great support from you guys when we were able to post that. ESPN gracious enough to let us use that footage. A lot of times copyright, things like that, they won't allow that. But yeah, that doesn't happen without your support. That doesn't happen without the birth of this channel. So that, and unfortunately, that was in the summer. So we actually were talking about the NBA Finals during that time. NBA Finals, not college football, but man, you get us up there to talk college football, we'd be set, right? So pretty crazy to think about. So all these different opportunities and things that we've been able to film and put out for you guys over the years doesn't happen again. It doesn't happen without you. It doesn't happen without the GE Nation. And again, we could not be more grateful, could not be more humbled and appreciative. And we'll say it time and time again tonight. But obviously, the key now, guys, is to continue to grow. Right? Continue to grow. We don't plan on stopping this operation. Don't plan on stopping this channel. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going strong, and we're pumped. We are pumped. I mean, again, to see this growth in such a little amount of time gives us a lot of faith on what we can actually build here, and continues to show that we can accomplish our goals here at the Gridiron Expert, and continues to show us that we can continue to expand and build on what we've already built, what we've already accomplished, and just continue to grow our nation. Continue to grow our nation and continue to grow our GE family. So I appreciate that. I'm looking at the comments with the glow up. Yeah, time flies, that's for sure. A couple of things haven't changed too much, but yeah, time flies, absolutely. Kind of crazy to think about. And Matthew Hazelhorst, I appreciate that. So I can't wait to see you on TV. If I could see you become an analyst on a sports channel, but ESPN's overrated, so I don't know if I'd want that. Well, we'll see. Maybe what we need to do, honestly, is just kind of start our own GE, TV stations or sports network, GE Sports Network, GE TV station. Who knows? We kind of have that now. We can start transitioning more to that as the year goes on. But again, tonight's a celebration, not just about the accomplishments that we've had over the last few years. It's a time to celebrate you guys as well. We've given you all a bunch of shout-outs. We're going to continue to do so. But as we always say, we thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for everything that you've helped us do. Because I cannot stress it enough. The reason YouTubers succeed, the reason we do what we do for as long as we do and we work as hard as we do is because of the fans and because of the viewers. If there's no payoff, if you're consistently, putting in the work and you can't get anywhere, it's frustrating, right? You post all these videos and you get 10 views, 15 views. Well, that's not going to do much. But you chip away, and you get those subscribers, you get those views, you get all these things from your community. That's what keeps us going. That's what makes us continue to get up in the morning and to continue to produce these videos and the content for you guys. And again, we could not be more happy about it. We could not be more excited about it. And again, more appreciative with you guys. 100%. CCD, appreciate you in the super chat, my man. Thank you so much. Since we're celebrating, bring back the drawing board. It deserves some love too because it carried the channel. Ironically, it surprises me. I'm not even going to lie about that. That's look, we had the whiteboard. We're bringing the whiteboard back out here for the rankings, our top 25 rankings every week, and of course our look for the predictions every week. The 5 games that we talk about. The whiteboard is always back for that. Hopefully here in the next few weeks, we'll bring it back for God, I'm blanking on my words. I'm overwhelmed here. We will bring it back for the recaps on Sundays and Mondays whenever we do that. So we get the whiteboards incorporated a little bit. When we're doing our individual prediction games, no need for that. But glad to see y'all love the channel and the whiteboard as much as you do. It's fascinating. I'm surprised we didn't want the almighty whiteboard, as Comic Dude says. I'm surprised that that y'all like it so much. Most people want more futuristic things, better graphics and things like that. So, but duly noted, the nation has spoken and you shall receive. So the whiteboard certainly will not be going anywhere, 100%. And Sam, I appreciate you, man. From the original whiteboard in 2017 to here, crazy, right? I mean, you want to know the funny thing about that original whiteboard? It broke. It actually snapped. So we had to go about by that. It snapped while we were doing some on-site predictions. I think we were in Indianapolis or something like that. But we literally had to, when we were out on on-site predictions, that original one, it just broke. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it got crushed in the car or if it fell. I don't know what happened. But we literally had to stroll into an Office Depot at 8 o'clock and find a new whiteboard so we could bring it back for our on-site predictions. So yeah, but good to know. I'm glad you guys all appreciate the whiteboard. We will definitely be keeping that in mind. So the original one's gone. We thought about auctioning it off, but it's in shambles. So we had to go get the new one. New ones last us a while though, and it's holding up pretty well. But Sam, I appreciate that. You and CCD, I appreciate the super chat, guys. Yeah, Will, we are in a Discord. You were start a group chat, man. We've got one. If you want to be able to talk all the time with us, with me and a lot of the people in the chat here, go join that Discord server, man. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. We want that to grow. We want to have as many people in there as possible to talk college football with. So download the Discord app or use it on your laptop, whatever you need to do. But yeah, come in there and join, man, because we want to talk ball as much as possible. CCD, Scott, you guys, Comic Dude obviously was in one already. You guys are very big and involved in that. We appreciate that because we love getting to see your takes, joke around, share opinions. That's what we like. So yeah, Will and anybody else that wants in, jump in. Discord server, we want you. I want to go back up. I'm going to hit all the comments. Don't worry. But Graham Brooks, major shout out to him. Another guy who's been here for a long time. Graham, we appreciate you, man. Sole source of sports commentary, and I do not miss the chumps on TV. So that, man, might be one of the best comments we ever received. Thank you, Graham. That means a lot, man. Go Clemson, am I right? Clemson looking pretty solid. Hopefully they'll be able to rise to the occasion here when ACC play starts getting up. Wake Forest, NC State, guys like that. But that really means a lot, man. I really appreciate that. And that's kind of what our ultimate goal is. We want to not take away from the chumps on TV or the other channels, but we want to be able to provide you things that you can't get there. Unbiased, truthful analysis, predictions, the honest truth, us living up to our losses, admitting when we're wrong, but also trying just to have fun and build a community and a personable relationship and community at that. Not just you got FYI, we got over 10,000 subscribers now, guys. Every single one of you is a valued member. You're not just another random subscriber, right? You are a valued member of our community, and we genuinely mean that. So Graham, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. One major shout out to you and all your support. Bill Barnett, major shout out to you as well. I appreciate it. Georgia Tech takes are spot on, man. Sometimes I wish they weren't, I want better for Georgia Tech, man. I really do. I want better for you and want better for the Yellow Jackets. But once they fire Jeff Collins, maybe they can start to turn things around. Going to be in for a rough game this Saturday against Ole Miss, I'm afraid. Let's see. MK Wacker and CCD. I appreciate the other super chat, man. Thank you so much for that. Graphics are cool, but the board is nostalgic. Well, hey, we'll keep bringing it back. I am one for nostalgia, man. When it comes to just about anything, I love nostalgia. So we'll be bringing it back as much as possible. Use the new graphics for at-home predictions, but for on-site rankings, things like that, make sure to have the whiteboard. We got you. 100%. Will, I just got your alert that you were in the Discords. Pumped to have you, man. Perfect. From West Virginia, baby. And Monster Jam's Finest is in there, too. So we got 2 new members in our Discord. Value members as well. So pumped to have you guys. Awesome. And, all right. Let's see. It's Sam, always dressed for success. Man, we've gone back and forth with the suit and tie, but tonight we definitely had to make sure we dressed up in the classic suit and the red tie, the one that started it all. So, all right, let's scroll back up to the chat. We've, talked about a couple things. We'll definitely come back to it, and be able to talk more about the milestone. But we do want to talk ball, right? We're here to celebrate, but to also take your questions and to take your comments and talk some college football. And we don't have an agenda for tonight, so let's just go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to scroll back up to the chat, and we're going to go to town. But thank you all for joining. All 35 of you here, whether you're watching now or watching later, we want to thank you for joining us again here at the Gridiron Expert. Again, celebrating 10,000 subscribers, celebrating a very huge milestone, something that, again, would not be possible to every single member of the GE Nation. Again, just another reminder, we do always have our expert picks on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Like we said, we're shooting to reach 100 expert pick subscriptions this year, guys, and we feel very confident we can do that with your help. And if we do that, we have a very, very, very special live stream lined up for you guys if we can get to 100 by season's end. Not tomorrow or next week, by season's end. So if we had 50 by week 6, week 7, we would be right on track to reach that 100. So that's always on our website. We appreciate that. Even if you're not a big bettor, it goes a long way for us in terms of supporting the channel. So do the PayPal, Cashapp, things like that. And so do Super Chats. So Super Chat's always on. And CCD and Sam, we appreciate you guys so much for that and helping those out with that tonight. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Eddie Rose, he asked me to answer this question earlier. I have a question. What has happened to Missouri after Gary Pinkel left? We should have hired Matt Campbell in 2016. The thing is, Eddie, it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda thing. You just never know. That was a gamble. Iowa State took a gamble on Matt Campbell. Kind of rhymed a little bit, didn't it? But Missouri would have been taking a gamble too. It's one of those things where you got a guy that's been solid at a Group of 5 level. Can he transition to win in the Power 5? And I think the SEC gets a lot of flack for that too. It's okay, yeah, you coached at a Group of 5 school. You can maybe win the Big 12, ACC, whatever, but can you win in the mighty SEC? I don't know. Matt Campbell would have been a great hire, though. He's obviously a phenomenal coach with Iowa State. Has transformed that program drastically, taken them to levels that a few years ago no one thought possible. But since Gary Pinkel had been there for so long, man, when you lose a legend like that, they're very, very hard to replace because those legends have a culture in place. They've been stable for so long. I mean, look at Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech's another prime example of that. You lose a guy like Frank Beamer, and you go to Justin Fuente. He never really got anything taken off the ground. Let him go. Brent Pry's there. Yeah, they beat Boston College last week, but they're still trying to get their feet wet, trying to get their footing. It takes a while to replace a legend, and Gary Pinkel was that. He was Missouri football. He was a legend. Took them to heights that they may not see for a very, very long time. So I think that's really ultimately what it was. And Barry Odom wasn't a bad coach from Missouri. He's obviously a fantastic defensive mind now at Arkansas, defensive coordinator there, but inherited a tough situation and never really just had, I think, the talent. I mean, he had Drew Lock, I know, but never really had the solely complete team to really get that team to where they needed to be. So ultimately, and some guys, as we will say, some guys are not always cut out to be a head coach, right? Some guys are solely meant to stay a coordinator and remain a coordinator. Bud Foster at Virginia Tech, another prime example. And that's another thing too. You get a legend like Gary Pinkel or Frank Beamer or guys like that, sometimes those assistants underneath them, they don't want to leave. They don't always do that. I would always want to take that head coaching job too, but sometimes those legends that have been there for so long and have that stability and have that culture can convince their coordinators to stick around, whether it's pay raises or just saying, hey, we've got the success, man. We can build here. That's kind of something to think about as we go through. So, Eddie, I wish the best for Missouri. I genuinely do. I enjoyed seeing them succeed. Those years where they were winning the SEC East consistently, a lot of fun to watch. And hopefully one day they'll get back to that. I will say that I don't think that's going to be under Eli Drinkwitz. Don't think they're ever going to reach those heights under him. Robert Sharpton, what do you think about the Browns logo? It was interesting, wasn't it? That was interesting. I was very shocked that the Browns switched to Brownie out there at the 50. That was very interesting and shocking that they decided to do that. Someone texted me and they go, the Browns have made a lot of interesting decisions lately, not just referencing that, but obviously referencing the Deshaun Watson case. But, that's neither here nor there. They're 1-0, and that's all that matters. They beat the Browns, obviously they beat the Panthers, ended Baker Mayfield's revenge tour over Cleveland, and despite all the issues going on off the field for the Browns, they're still 1-0 and easily could be a playoff team this year. But yeah, Comic Dude says it's an abomination on the Browns field. I agree. I don't think anybody likes it. I think it was a horrible decision. But to each their own. You know what? They're talking about them now. As they always say in the business, right? Any publicity is good publicity, right? People might not like the Browns decision, but they're talking about them. They're getting media, they're getting press coverage, and that's all they want, right? Major shout out. I'm at the top of the chat, but I just saw it come in. Major shout out to my good friend, my guy Dave. As he said, it's only the beginning here at the 10,000 celebration. I could not agree more with that, and I appreciate that comment there. Congrats. Best is yet to come. This is a celebration. Bring your gift to GE. So, I mean, hey, if Dave says it, the almighty Dave, he listen to the man. I appreciate him. He absolutely is coming in clutch all the time, man. All the time. So, Dave, I appreciate you, all your support, the advice. I've always enjoyed getting to talk to you, and I appreciate all the super chats. As Nova Dude says, coming through clutch consistently. You and Cash Money have been by far the biggest super chat donors here on the channel, and we really, really appreciate that. So, Dave, thank you so much, and you're dang straight. The best is yet to come. We have a long ways to go. But our future goals, that goal of 20,000, that 25,000, those things, they're coming soon. And I believe that we're going to get there. No doubt about it. Those affirmations, right? We're going to get there. James Ferguson, good to see you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your support. Same with Nova Dude. Matthew Carroll, I appreciate you. And everybody's pumped to see Dave. And you know what we're going to do real quick? I mean, it's not that big a deal. Let me see if I can do it here on the chat. I got to do it on my phone. Let me go, if I can, through the live stream. Dave, you've been coming through so clutch, man. You've obviously been a very vital member to everything we've been doing and building here on the channel. So you've now been promoted. Not that big a deal, Dave, but you have now been promoted to moderator. It should pop up here at some point soon. So Dave, our man Dave, is now a moderator here at the Gridiron Expert. Joining many people, George Stice, Cyclone Mitch, obviously Emperor of Rome. I saw Comic Dude say that. We really wish that Emperor of Rome was still around. Haven't seen him in a while. He pops in every now and then, but Emperor of Rome has been the guy that I think literally was there since day one. One of the first commenters ever. Always a big supporter. So Emperor of Rome, if you ever see this, whenever you see this, we really appreciate you and all of your support. So Dave, welcome to the Moderator Club, joining some of the biggest and best Gridiron Expert members and members of the GE Nation, and well deserved, my man, because we appreciate you and all your support so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna scroll back up to the top here and continue to just kind of go through some of the comments that we were talking on tonight. Danzers 3, Matthew Carroll, thank you guys both again. Thank you very much for your support, for popping in tonight. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Let's see here. Got debates going about whether Drake May is overrated or not. I don't know. CCD says he's never going to hate Rutgers because he's a big Greg Schiano fan. I definitely am too. Love Greg Schiano. He's one of those coaches, again, that's a Rutgers legend. Hasn't really been there Obviously, we know this is his second stint, right? So being able to revive that football program back in the early 2000s and then bringing him back, and that's something that I just never truly will understand with some programs is why not bring back certain coaches, right? Now, obviously if you fire a guy, if you fire a coach because they failed, like you ever think, like Nebraska is never going to come back and hire Scott Frost. Like 15 years from now, they're not going to be like, hey, you want a second chance? Okay, here you go. But, a coach leaves for a better position, goes to the NFL, goes to a bigger conference, bigger school, gets fired there, is floating around in the coaching carousel. Why not bring that coach back? Or they go somewhere else and then they retire. Sometimes you can bring people out of retirement to come back and coach. Mac Brown, a prime example, hadn't coached for years after leaving Texas. And guess what? Now he's at North Carolina. And while they laid an egg last year, he has the Tar Heels at 3-0 with a great quarterback in Drake May, despite what some will say. I agree with Dave. Drake May is for real. So, I never really understand that. Rutgers then a fantastic hire, bringing back a guy, Greg Schiano, who not only was winning at Rutgers, but understood the program. He understood the culture. He understood what it took to win at Rutgers, and also understood what Rutgers meant to people. And that's another thing that I think when athletic directors or boosters or whoever are hiring, I think it's important to try to hire a coach that wants to coach your team. It's one thing to be like, hey, I coached at Toledo. Now I'm going to head coach at Missouri or Iowa State or something like that, right? Like, one thing, you have to step up, and that's the goal. In any job, right? Your goal is to move up the ranks. Move up the ranks, better opportunities, more money. That's the way of life. But it's another thing to go, not only am I moving up the ranks, but now I'm coaching at a school I genuinely want to be at. A good opportunity or a good example of that, I would say, is Sam Pittman at Arkansas, right? And not even come from a bias standpoint. You look at a guy like Sam Pittman who grew up minutes from the campus, grew up loving the Razorbacks. So not only did he have a true love for the state of Arkansas and the program, but he knew what it meant to the people. He knew what Arkansas football meant to its fans and to its citizens, and he knew the culture, he knew the history, he knew what it took. And so when you bring a guy in there that understands those things, when he understands what it takes and what it means, they're going to try to do a good job regardless, but they're going to do things that, group all those things together, if that makes sense. Arkansas in the past, they hired a guy in Chad Morris. He was garbage. As Paul Feinbaum said recently at the Little Rock Touchdown Club here, he was one of the biggest clowns I've ever met, ever talked to. And he was. Chad Morris was in over his head. Brett Bielema, another prime example. He comes to Arkansas. I'm just using Arkansas as an example now. He comes to Arkansas. Congratulations. You got to win in the Big Ten, where months prior to him taking the Arkansas job, he was criticizing the SEC. Funny how he would then take a job in the SEC where he ultimately failed. He didn't really understand Arkansas. He didn't know what football in Arkansas meant to its people. He didn't understand the culture and how to win in the SEC. It was just an opportunity to move up in the ranks and get more money. Understandable. I think any of us would take that opportunity. But the coaches that understand the culture, that understand the state, that understand what that team means to the people, and obviously all that thing means a lot to that coach, those are the ones that will succeed. I mean, yes, other ones can too, but those are the ones that will succeed and obviously get the support from the boosters and the fan base. Pittman is one of them. Schiano certainly is one of them. Coaches that go back to coach their alma mater, those are coaches that, don't always pan out. Scott Frost being a prime example, didn't pan out in Nebraska, but I wouldn't say that was a bad hire. I never thought when it happened it was a bad hire. I thought you're bringing a guy back who understands Nebraska, played for Nebraska, he gets it, was successful at UCF, and is looking to turn it around just like he was when he was a player there. So, that was all going on from the CCD's comment about him being a Schiano fan. I'm a Schiano fan. And I thought Schiano got kind of screwed over when he was passed over for the Tennessee job because for some reason the Tennessee faithful didn't want him. And I think, right now they're happy with Josh Heupel. Who wouldn't be? But at that time, where they missed out on him and ended up hiring Jeremy Pruitt, probably wishing you had taken Greg Schiano. Probably wishing you were. Let's see here. Will, I'm a Rutgers fan, but I live 20 minutes from Frederick, Maryland. Hey, I love that. He's in West Virginia. But he went to Rutgers, if I'm not mistaken. I think you go to Rutgers, right? And I'm scrolling through as fast as I can through the glow-up comments. I'm caught up to those now. Cash Money, though, I don't think I gave him a shout out yet, but Cash Money, appreciate you if you're still here. BYU, baby. Big game against Oregon on Saturday. I'm so torn on who to pick on that. He thinks BYU destroys Oregon. Destroys them. Kills them. Tough pick, man. Tough pick. I think those two teams are relatively even, and game is in Eugene. We will have our analysis out for that game, Cash Money. We will have that out on Thursday. BYU Oregon pick on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Tomorrow's Miami and Texas A&M. Thursday is BYU and Oregon. Friday is Oklahoma and Nebraska. And then Saturday, boom, we are back for another college football weekend. How about that? Let's see here. Clement, I appreciate you. Clement Akufo, congrats on 10,000. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for all your support. Clement is one of the most frequent commenters. That is for sure. Definitely comments on almost all the videos, and I love it. Great analysis from him consistently on the videos. Continue to scroll down here. What else do we have? Will, if Iowa's offense continues to struggle under Petrus, do you think Rutgers has a chance to beat them at home? Will, I predicted that, man, back in the preseason. I had Rutgers upsetting Iowa in Piscataway back in June, July, whenever we decided to do that. So, yes, 100%. And right now, I feel more confident in that pick than ever. I think a lot of people thought that was a stretch. When I said Rutgers would beat Iowa, they laughed at it. But now, I feel more confident in that pick than ever. I mean, Rutgers isn't blowing people out of the water necessarily. Big win over BC, beat Wagner. I think they're going to beat Temple. But, yeah, and let me tell you this, Will. I'm pretty sure after Iowa, you guys get Nebraska. Or maybe it's the week after you get Nebraska. I can't remember. But regardless, there's a good chance that Rutgers could have 5 wins midway through the season. And then it's just a matter of finding one more to go bowling. Legitimately. They went bowling last year, didn't reach that 6-win mark. They can actually get there this year. Can't look past Temple. Don't look past Iowa because that defense is really, really good, but they can't move the ball. Petrus has like the worst QBR in the country among Power 5 quarterbacks. Maybe out of all quarterbacks. I think it's like a 3, like 3.2, something like that. I mean, it's embarrassing. And it's amazing that he hasn't improved any since last year. He was bad enough as it was last year. I think if anything, he's gotten worse. But yes, as Comic Dude said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They can beat Iowa, and I will stand by that. Right now, Rutgers is beating Iowa unless something drastic changes, but I don't think it will. Let's see. Scotty B, if Iowa had an offense, would it be a playoff team? Yeah, probably. If they had an offense last year, they may have been able to beat a handful of teams they lost to and could have been in the playoff. I don't know if they would have beaten Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, but they wouldn't have lost 42-3. So yeah, if they had a competent offense along with that electric defense, easily could be a playoff team or at least a New Year's Six bowl team. Something they were neither of those last year, and even fell to Kentucky in their bowl game. Benjamin Ormond, yes, please hit that like button, guys. We appreciate all the support here. You guys do such a phenomenal job of that. Smash that like button. That is also what helps us grow. That's going to help us have another celebration video sooner. Believe it or not. The comments and the likes on every single video, including the live streams, help out the YouTube analytics. And we have done some deep dives into that and still don't completely understand it. It's very complicated and weird how some videos do better than others. It's all about the timing and keywords and, it's SEO, search engine optimization, for those of you that don't know. It's all about that. But it helps people find us and helps us pop up higher up in searches the more you like. Obviously, the more viewers and the more subscribers and the more likes and the more comments, the more engagement we get, the more people that aren't part of our nation can find us and can join. And we've had a couple people already that have joined in recent days that haven't been here before. We've had, like I said, over 50 new subscribers since we hit 10,000. We had our good friend Max the other day join us in our live stream just last week. Max was brand new. We all welcomed him to the nation, which is pretty awesome. And it's really great when we get to welcome new people into the chat and into our community. So hit that like button, as Benjamin said. Benjamin, thank you for that. Again, Dave saying he loves the grease board. It's here. It's here. We've got it. It's right down here in the corner. So I've got it stowed away for our rankings videos that we do every week, for the prediction videos that we do every week, and maybe a couple other guest appearances when that time comes. So absolutely. Mark TR, good to see you, man. Thank you for your support. Big Miami fan. Does Jimbo lose 2 weeks in a row? Find out tomorrow, only here on the Gridiron Experts, like a TV show. We will have a Miami, Texas A&M prediction tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time, breaking down the Hurricanes and the Aggies. Can Miami come into College Station and get the win, or will Texas A&M bounce back? Will they bounce back after that bad loss to App State and get ready for conference play? Because A&M guys, they're in for a rough stretch. They just lost to App State. They've got Miami on Saturday. That's not a give me. They've got Arkansas next week. The Razorbacks will be favored in that game. They beat Texas A&M last year. Arkansas looking really, really good. So Miami, Arkansas, on the road at Mississippi State, and on the road at Alabama. Those are the next 4 games for Texas A&M. So yes, there is a possibility that Texas A&M could be 1-5. Let's think about that. 1-5. Is that going to happen? Probably not. They will find a way to beat at least one of those teams. It could be Miami because that's the only true home game they have. Arkansas is in Arlington, so it's not on campus. It's not at College Station. Then obviously in Starkville and Bama. When we told you guys, we said back in the preseason, Bama will kill Texas A&M. Does Bama look vulnerable? Absolutely they do. They don't look as unstoppable as we thought, narrowly beating Texas. But with all the off-season feud between Jimbo and Nick Saban, Alabama wanting revenge from that loss from last year, obviously Texas A&M not having a competent offense, it's going to get ugly in Tuscaloosa. Mississippi State, they beat Texas A&M last year in College Station, beat them 26-22. Arguably a better Mississippi State team now than they had last year. Miami, on fire offensively, weighing the two. I don't want to get too deep into it, but again, there is a chance that Texas A&M could be 1-5 if they don't grip it together. And the problem is, guys, if they lose to Miami on Saturday, you can't help but wonder, is that just going to send the team into a spiral? What does Jimbo Fisher have to do to rally his troops? Because here's the thing, you lose to Miami, you got 2 losses, so your playoff hopes done. Right? I mean, if A&M somehow won out the rest of the year, won their last 10 games, they probably make the playoff despite the loss to App State. The bottom line is they're not. More like that. You can keep that in the back of your head, and all the A&M fans are saying, oh, we can still make Atlanta. We can still go to the SEC championship. You're not. But you believe that. Go ahead. But if you lose to Miami, you still don't have a conference loss. Sure, good for you. But you got 2 back-to-back losses. You're 1-2. A year where people thought you might only lose 1 game all year, now you've lost 2. And you look at the schedule ahead and you realize the next 2 are against teams you lost to last year, and the one after that is in Tuscaloosa against a pissed-off Nick Saban, Alabama, and you go, crap, we might be 1-5. And then you can help but wonder, how long does A&M put up with this? You know, the schedule's a little lighter in the back half, still tough games against LSU, Ole Miss, guys like that. South Carolina, not going to be a pushover. But, you know, if A&M goes anywhere from 6-6 to 8-4, 8-4 U, right? If they do that, how long does A&M put up with Jimbo Fisher? When are they tired and when they cut off the mediocrity? You know, they're in here paying him 10-year, $75 million contract to come in here and start beating up on the big dogs and winning national championships, and they have failed to make the SEC championship. Haven't even made it once. And I can promise you it's not going to be this year. He's recruiting well. The recruits aren't panning out. Is it the recruit's fault? Is it the coach's fault? That's up for you to decide. Bottom line is Jimbo Fisher isn't delivering. A&M didn't pay all that money and hype him up to go 8-4 and consistently make the, a Liberty Bowl, a Outback Bowl. You know, they've made one New Year's Six Bowl, and that was in the COVID year. Very fortunate for them, and they, needed one big run at the end of the game to finally pull away from North Carolina. So one New Year's Six Bowl, no playoff appearances, only one win over Alabama, that coming last year, and some freak game in College Station. Again, how long does Texas A&M put up with mediocrity? You're going to be hard pressed to find a big name coach, one as big as Jimbo Fisher, to come in and replace him. But you got to say, God, are we really going to keep paying this guy this much money just to continue to go 8-4? Maybe if we're lucky, 9-3. I mean, I don't know how much longer I could do it. One of the most underrated teams in the country, guys. We were saying it all summer long, and it finally came to fruition on Saturday. And I can't lie. I will say there was a little bit of joy in me when that happened. I wasn't rooting against Texas A&M, but when it happened, when App State won that game, I couldn't just be like, yes. I was like, yes. Now the nation will see, right? The people that were bashing us and saying you're a hater and A&M's not overrated and we're going to go win the Natty. There you go. very, very nice. Tiger Raven, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for that. Congratulations. Thank you again for all your support. And same with Nova Dude 316. Thanks for a nice job of reaching 10,000. There are only a few analysts out there that do a good job, but what's different about you is your videos, predictions, and everything is done with love. And that's a really cool way to put it, man. I haven't heard it put that way, but I appreciate that. Going back to the celebration aspect, it's clearly a passion for us. It's clearly a passion and a love and something that we enjoy doing. It's one of those things that when we do these live streams or crank out these videos, it's not a crap, we have to do these, right? It's like we want to do these. We want to get out as many videos as possible for you guys. We want to be able to talk ball as much as possible with you guys. So yeah, it's a true enthusiasm, true excitement, and true passion into everything that we do here. And so obviously seeing that being recognized by members of the nation, by members of our community, really means a lot. So Nova Dude, thank you again for all your support. Love getting to see all your comments as well when you chime in on the videos, whether it's in the chat or on normal videos. We do enjoy getting to see your takes and enjoy getting to see your rankings as well. You do a great job of breaking down your rankings and giving some good explanation for that. I enjoy getting to see those every day. Thank you. Let's see. Scrolling back up. I want to catch up on the chat. Still scrolling through it. Razorbacks rule. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Big time Razorback fan. We had a Razorback fan from France yesterday morning. How about that? Got to catch him early in the morning. He commented earlier today, said he couldn't be here tonight, which is understandable. Pretty big time difference, I imagine. But we do appreciate him and your support. Appreciate all the Hog fans in the chat. Thank you. And he says Arkansas will beat Missouri State by 45. I'm really excited for that game. Not only because I think Arkansas is going to win, but Bobby Petrino is the head coach at Missouri State. He's coming back to Arkansas. It's going to be pretty bittersweet, I think, for a lot of fans, but also a really cool storyline to see that. Dave making an interesting comment here. Excuse me. Kansas coach was the Buffalo coach. That's Lance Leipold. Kansas scooped him up, and it's coming fast for the Jayhawks. The return on the investment coming fast. I mean, Kansas, guys, 2-0, winning that overtime thriller last week against West Virginia. That's a really, it's been a long time since we've seen Kansas being able to consistently win some Big 12 games. I mean, last year, beating Texas on the road. This year, beating West Virginia on the road. 2-0 for Kansas. And this is a team, guys, that I'm not saying right now they're going to go bowling. They still have some tough games ahead. They're not to the level of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Baylor, guys like that yet. But this is a team that could you could spoil some things. Could be way more competitive than they've been in years past. That's a good point. Only 2 years in with one of the biggest rebuilding projects in the country, and Lance Leipold has done a pretty good job. Would Nebraska be crazy enough to scoop him up and hope he could do the same? That'd be an interesting, risky take, considering we haven't seen too much of Leipold during his time at Kansas. That'd be an interesting pick. But I think Nebraska, man, that's going to be one of the biggest hires of this entire offseason. All eyes are going to be, it's the blue blood program, right? Anytime a blue blood program is on the market for a coach, we're all anxious to see who are they going to take. And Nebraska is one of those schools that you feel like they need a big name hire. And it was Paul Feinbaum recently that came out. He goes, I hate to say it, but the only big name hire that I could see Nebraska taking, or one that they need, is Urban Meyer. And I don't think that's going to happen. Don't see Urban Meyer coming to Nebraska, of all places. But he's done crazier things before. And would you want Urban Meyer? Would you want all the bad press? He's one of the greatest college coaches of all time, and you can't deny that. He's won everywhere he's been. Utah, Florida, Ohio State, everywhere he's been, he's done extremely well. But would you want the bad press that comes with that? Would you want to bring in Urban Meyer knowing that he's probably only going to be with you for maybe 5 years? Maybe before he has health issues again or gets involved in some scandal, maybe kicks a player, who knows what he's going to do. But do you want that? And I don't think Nebraska would take that. Nebraska needs someone they feel confident in that can stay there for a long time. That's what they need. Maybe, I don't know, I think people wouldn't want it, but why not bring back Bo Pelini, man? We were talking about bringing coaches back that have been left. Nebraska let him go, sure, but man, he was pretty dang good. He had him as a consistent winner. Not a great defensive mind. We saw how great that his run as defensive coordinator at LSU went recently, but they need to bring him back. Bring back some fire and some intensity into that Nebraska program, something we haven't seen in a long time. They do need a big name hire. Excuse me, does Georgia cover the massive spread, Sam asked. 24.5. That is a pretty massive spread, especially on the road. And Dave says Georgia seems to be a lock. That's why I'm hesitant to pull the trigger. Maybe a second half play or live play to see how the game is flowing. Yeah, that's the problem. 24.5 actually does seem low for Georgia. That's a game that I'm actually looking at possibly releasing tomorrow with our expert picks. It's kind of a tough situation because it's like you're on the road, but Georgia's just annihilating everybody. Beat Oregon by 46. Won last week at Samford 33-0. I mean, that defense. Do we really think Spencer Rattler, kind of a turnover machine? Do we think he's going to be able to light up this Georgia defense? Probably not. But South Carolina's in a pretty good secondary. This will be a good opportunity for Stetson Bennett to keep making his Heisman case if he can go out there and throw for a crisp 300 against this Gamecocks defense. So I'm looking at Georgia, though. If I'm betting that game, obviously I'm betting Georgia. I mean, the betting Georgia or staying away, I can tell you that. Let's see. Ryan DeYoung says Texas blows out UTSA at home, and then we rank them. Yes, if Texas blows out UTSA at home, meaning they would cover the very low under 2 touchdown spread, which is pretty low. If they blow them out, they will be ranked. Texas is one of our first teams out. I've had people get on to me for that. Look, Paxton, hook 'em horns, baby. Give them that, right? The fact that Texas got ranked after losing to Alabama baffled me. Congratulations. You almost, keyword almost, beat the number 1 team in the country. I don't believe in moral victories. And that's what Texas was handed. It was, oh, you were so close. Here, now let's make you the 21st ranked team in the country. For losing? You lost. I mean, yes, you almost beat the number 1 team, but would you do that for any other school? Would you take, team, I got my sheet over here, a team that I've got missing out. Minnesota is in there. Florida State, that's a good big name program that they probably would have done it for. Florida State, you almost beat Alabama, lost by 1. We're going to take you from 28th in the country and bump you. We're going to move you up 7 spots because you almost beat a team. Does that make sense to anybody else? Or am I in the wrong and minority on this? I don't think you should get rewarded for losses. Yes, you almost beat the number 1 team. It was a great effort. Yes, you showed a lot of improvement. But any given Saturday, guys, I mean, let's take a good example here. Appalachian State, they're not even ranked. They beat the number 6 team in the country. Beat them at home as like a 20-point underdog. They're not even ranked. Marshall wasn't even ranked. 2-0, right? I don't think they're ranked. 2-0. Beat the number 8 team in the country, not even ranked. But Texas loses at home to Alabama, and we're going to move them up 4, 5, 6 spots to number 21st in the country. Let's rank them. You shouldn't get rewarded for losing. You lost. You lost fair and square. You missed opportunities. You missed a chip shot field goal from the 20-yard line. You missed the sack on Bryce Young at the end of the 4th quarter that would have knocked him out of field goal range and probably would have won you the game. You missed the chance to pick off Bryce Young, I believe it was in the 3rd quarter, that would have set your offense up in prime position to get some more points out of it. You missed multiple red zone opportunities where you settled for field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. You missed the ability to get Bryce Young down in the end zone for a safety. Yes, that was controversial. The bottom line is if you just get him down, you win the game. Texas goes up 12-10, probably gets points out of it. All momentum shifts, they win the game. So Texas missed so many opportunities that, the game wasn't rigged. The game wasn't rigged. It wasn't that they gave Bama privilege, nothing like that. Texas played a good game, and I personally believe they should have won that game. Quinn Ewers went down with an injury. You can't help that. But to say that they should be ranked because they lost, and it was just a close loss, means nothing to me. You going to do that for other teams? Hey, guess what? You lost, but hey, you covered the spread. You covered the spread. Let's rank you. No, that's not how it works. But yes, they didn't drop far in my rankings as an outsider. I've got them at 28th right now. They're 28th on my rankings. 3rd most receiving votes in my GE rankings. You crush UTSA, and the key word is crush, not barely cover or fail to cover. Crush UTSA. Texas will be in the top 25. You have my word. They got to do it. Maybe I'm in the minority on that. I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, we're all in agreement on Greg Schiano. I'm glad we're in agreement on Sam Pittman. Kind of going back to that conversation earlier about coaches wanting to be where they are. Dave saying we need to go watch Brent Venables' press conference. Said it made him cry. Watch out for what is being built in Oklahoma. What a great man of integrity, transparency. It's a must-watch. So I will have to go check that out. I haven't seen that yet. But obviously Oklahoma, big game against Nebraska. We'll touch on that game here in a second. Shout out to George Stice. We mentioned him earlier as one of our moderators. As you can see, he is one now still. And George, appreciate you, my guy. I really do. He's one of those guys, as we mentioned, has been here since the beginning, has been here for a long, long time, and obviously couldn't get to this point without him, without many of you. So, George, I appreciate you. All of our moderators, I really appreciate all of you guys, but that goes for everybody here as well, every 10,000 of you. Seriously. But George, good to see you. Glad you could pop on for a little bit. I know we don't always get to catch everybody. I know live stream schedules and video schedules, it takes time. That's another thing, guys. We appreciate your commitment. People go, I can't believe how much time you put into these videos and how much time you put into the research. What about you guys, right? I mean, you guys are taking the time to sit down and join us on a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night to watch these live streams and to chat with us. You're taking the time to watch the videos when we post normal ones. You're taking the time to go to our website and purchase the expert picks or to hop in the Discord server. You're thinking of us, and we appreciate that. It's not just a time commitment and a commitment and effort on our part, right? It's just as much so on your part too. And so we really, really appreciate that. Let's see here. As Paxton said, anyone can win on any given Saturday. Sam says he wants to see Arkansas. Please, Arkansas, just win the West. He wants to see someone new. I want to see that too, man. Man, you ever want to see me cry on the Gridiron Expert? It'll probably be if Arkansas ever wins the West. Oh man, that'd be awesome. That's one of the things, man. I just need to see Arkansas win a national championship of some capacity. I mean, football would be phenomenal, but give me a national championship in football, basketball, even baseball. They were so close to winning the College World Series a few years ago, didn't know how to catch a foul ball. And I've never seen it. My fear is that I'm never going to see Arkansas win a national championship. Sam got to see that last year. Georgia finally winning their first natty since 1980, which is huge. Fingers crossed that one day Arkansas can get to that point too. There are many teams that have never seen their team win a national championship in any sport. It's a very, very tough thing to do. But hopefully one day we'll all get that opportunity, or at least get close. Let's get close to seeing that success. I have never seen, since I got into football in 2009, I've never seen Arkansas win the SEC West. We came close. Rose as high as number 3 in the rankings in 2011, but I've never seen us win the West. I've only seen us play in one BCS New Year's Six caliber bowl game. That was the Sugar Bowl back in 2010 against Ohio State. I was actually lucky enough to be at that game. Lost in heartbreaking fashion. So haven't seen them in many of those settings there. So the success is kind of new for us. So hopefully, maybe they can win the West. It easily could be decided on October 1st when the Hogs host Alabama. Want to scroll down a little bit. We're getting close to catching up. We're getting close to everything here. Big shout out, Max, Todd, and Dave again from both of you guys. I appreciate you guys. Max, we gave you a shout out earlier, man, and I'm so glad you could join us. So glad you could pop in for a little bit tonight. One of the newer members of the GE Nation, the community. Thank you so much for that super chat, man. I really, really appreciate that. And he says, as a Bama fan, I enjoyed the Texas game. Sometimes you need a game like that to refocus and stop eating the rat poison. That's a fantastic point, Max. I love that Nick Saban quote. And, I think, Max, y'all are going to be just fine. I think a lot of people are putting a little too much stock into the Alabama game. I think while, yes, Bama maybe isn't as good as we thought they were, while there are some vulnerabilities on the team, a major reason that game was so close was because of the penalties, right? The most penalties ever committed under Nick Saban. He started coaching Alabama in 2007. The most ever committed by Nick Saban, or by an Alabama team under Nick Saban. I mean, that's bad, right? And those penalties, a couple of them were just stupid. They weren't even like little holding calls, false starts here and there. I mean, it was like unnecessary roughness, hits after the whistle. I mean, stupid little things here and there that gave Texas extra chances, that got them out of bad situations, that extended drives for them that sometimes resulted in points. And that's just one of those things that, Nick Saban, if you don't think he's fixing that in practice, you're wrong. he's going to fix that really, really quick. Penalties can be fixed. They can be taught. They can be worked on. And he'll fit that real quick. And you look at Alabama's schedule next week, ULM, easy dub. Lost to ULM back in his first year. Kind of funny, right? 2007, first year for Nick Saban. They fall to UL Monroe. Won't happen this time. And then next week, week 4, they play Vanderbilt. And that should be an easy win in theory. So 2 easy wins for Alabama to work out any issues they have, to really work on those penalties. And then the tough slate begins. They get Arkansas on the road on October 1st. And as we've said, if they're going to lose, Alabama's going to lose a regular season game. It's going to come on the road at Arkansas, potential top 5. Keep that in mind, top 5 matchup, possibly, with Alabama and Arkansas. Alabama is number 2. Arkansas, number 10. The Razorbacks should beat Missouri State. If they can get past Texas A&M, who could be ranked, who might not be, Arkansas should move up a couple spots. So you could easily have the number 2 team in the country in Alabama playing the number 6 or number 7 team in Arkansas. Talk about insane. Talk about a rocking Razorback Stadium. How crazy that'll be. So yeah, that's where the true test will begin for Alabama. Max, again, major shout out to you. Thank you so much for your support and for that super chat and for being here and becoming a part of the nation, a big part of it. Dave, again, thank you so much for your super chat donation. Very, very much. As he said, college football is the all caps best sport. GE deserves more celebratory love. Hey, you said it. Dave said it, not me. But I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, every super chat donation goes a long way, guys. Every single bit of it helps us out tremendously. Same with these expert picks, guys. Again, our goal is to get 100 subscribers. If you don't want the expert picks, considering doing a super chat, consider doing a PayPal or a Cashapp or Venmo. Those are all down in the description below as well. All the money, again, we funnel into this channel. Obviously it funds us, but it funds the channel. And we want to keep building it up. And these super chats allow us to do that. The ad revenue from the videos allows us to do that. Expert picks allows us to do that. It's not just a channel, guys. It's a production. It's a business. One that we enjoy providing for you guys and doing for you guys, and one that we enjoy doing too. So it goes a long, long way. So Dave, Max, thank you so much. Benjamin Orman down here, thank you so much. I'll address your comment real quick before we go back to the top. My thoughts on the North Carolina State Texas Tech game. We kind of broke that down a little bit in our week 3 predictions that we put out today. That's one of our top 5 games. This is the biggest test I feel like that North Carolina State has faced. And they almost lost to ECU, who's not a bad team. But Texas Tech, man, Donovan Smith, he's a dog. He's a heck of a quarterback. Dual threat capability, had the game-winning rushing touchdown against Houston last week in Lubbock. Really, really good QB, dangerous QB. NC State, though. Here's what I love about the game, Benjamin. I like the quarterback battle between Donovan Smith and Devin Leary. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic matchup. I also think, though, that this is Texas Tech's toughest defense that they have seen. Houston was a very good test. They were a top 25 team. So I'm not going to dog on Houston. But defensively, NC State's defense, the best the Red Raiders have seen. And the best they've probably seen in a while. I mean, you go back to their last few games. I mean, Houston didn't have it. Who was like Murray State in week 1? They didn't have it. Mississippi State really didn't have it in the Liberty Bowl dating back to last year. A couple Big 12 schools definitely didn't have it. This will be one of the best defenses they've faced in a while. And the game is at North Carolina State. So you factor in 2 great quarterbacks here, but who has the defensive edge? It's NC State. They've got home field advantage. In terms of veteran experience, they've got the advantage, and they even have it at the coaching position with Dave Doeren over Joey McGuire. So I like NC State in that game. I think it might be a little bit closer than people think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout necessarily. Don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I do think that NC State wins that game, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I hope that answers your question. We did break it down a little bit more detail in the video that we released earlier this afternoon. And we'll probably, depending on how close it is, might be talking a little bit about that in our recap following all of Saturday's games. And another major shout out to Dave again. So it's three super chat donations tonight. Holy cow. When you're doing what you love, it's not work. Everybody should read that because that's very, very true. Very, very true. And it's not. This isn't work for me. I call it work, right? Like, hey, I'm going to work. I'm going to go do some work. but it's not like a hassle. You know, a lot of people don't really enjoy going to their job or dealing with their work. I love it. I love staying up all night to watch the games. I love staying up all night to do the research. I love getting to sit here and talk with you guys and to produce the content. It's a joy, man. It's so much fun. So he is so right on that. So Dave, thank you so much for the super chat donations again. Nova Dude, he's heading out. We're gonna head back up to the chat and answer everybody else's questions. But Nova Dude, thank you for popping in, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support. Definitely, we'll be taking this day in. That's for sure. Definitely one we're not gonna forget, and it's really, 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 really cool. Really cool. So Nova Dude, thank you so much for your support, man. Thanks for being here. Keep up all the great work in the comment section. Love seeing what you got, and have a great night. And before we head back up to the chat, to keep going back down, Landon Atkins, very amazing. He's been here since like 2K. I love it. He's been here since like 2000. That's awesome. I love getting to hear that, guys. I don't know how many people remember that, like where you were, like, you know, what the subscriber count was when you subscribed to the channel, when you started watching our content. But it's really cool when we get people on here. I've been here since the beginning. And some of them, I do remember that, right? But I've been here since the beginning. I've been here since 2000. I was here, you know, a couple weeks ago, like Max. You know, he's only been here for like a week and a half, something like that. But he's embraced the culture and he's embraced the family, and we've embraced him, and I love it. It's so cool, man. So I love getting to see that. But Landon, thank you so much. 850 Matthew, thank you so much for that super chat donation. Again, look at that. I love it. Look at that. The top chat, you know, at the top of the chat, you get to see all the super chat donations up there, and it's so cool. We've got like 4 or 5 in a row. It's amazing. I love all the colors. First of all, it's just so cool to see different colors. But that's just the love, man. I appreciate it. One of my thoughts on the Noles, man, they're good. They're dangerous, man. And I'm going to tell you what, if they can beat Louisville on Friday, as Dave said, what's your thoughts? If they can beat Louisville, watch out. Florida State probably going to crack the top 25 or be the first team out at 26, 27. But they'll be 3-0. They're dangerous. This is obviously the best team that Mike Norvell has fielded yet. And I think this is a team that could, you know, someone said they think they could threaten Clemson in the Atlantic. All I'm going to say is this. I'll ask you, Matthew, what are my thoughts on the Noles? I think they're so good that they're going to spring a few upsets this year. Let's just put it at that. Back in the preseason, I said the ACC Atlantic is a 3-team race. It's Clemson, NC State, and Wake Forest. Well, I changed that. It's a 4-team race. Clemson, Wake Forest, NC State, and Florida State. Nearly half of that division is up for grabs, up for the top spot. I think we actually did predict Florida State to beat Wake Forest here in a few weeks. I'm pretty sure we predicted that, so there's a possible upset right there. They have the talent to hang with Clemson, especially with Clemson's offense if they continue to struggle. They have the offense to hang with NC State if they don't continue to perform at the way we think they can. So it is a 4-team race in that division, man. They are a good team, and I think they're finally starting to turn the corner under Mike Norvell. Does that mean they're going to go win 9-10 games, win the division this year? Probably not. Probably not. They could, but probably not. But they're going to get there. The fact that they're starting to turn the corner should make a bowl game, should be a decent game. At that, I think we have the Seminoles at 7-5 this year, finally cracking that postseason berth. That would be a solid year, but I think they actually have the potential to be even better than that, personally. So, great question, Matthew. Appreciate you in the super chat, man. Appreciate Dave. Appreciate Nova, Landon, Doggy coming in. Congrats on the milestone. I thank you so much, man. You've been here for years too. And again, guys, that stuff doesn't go unnoticed, right? We remember the names. You know, there's some guys we've interacted more with others, but we remember the names. We remember the people that comment. We remember the people that donate. We remember a lot of you guys, and we love getting to interact with you. And still, again, build those relationships. Haven't met many of you in person, and yet it feels like I know you all very, very well. And that, I think, is a testament to really what we're building here. Well, let's go back up towards the top a little bit. Still got a lot more comments I got to address, and I love it. It's awesome. Let's see here. Let's see here. God, I'm farther behind than I thought. All right. So Matt, I'm where Max just popped in the chat. So I'm a little ways up. Let's see. Shout out to Sarah Brown popping in. Congratulations on 10,000. You are the all caps man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. And Dave, breaking in the welcoming her to the chat. So thank you very much, Sarah, for that comment. Comic dude, GE makes his videos the same way SpongeBob makes Krabby Patties, with pure love. I used to be a big SpongeBob guy, man. Sometimes I still watch the reruns, man. I love that. Not true. So GE's kind of like SpongeBob. Is that what we're saying? You can draw some comparisons. I've been told with my figure in terms of the lankiness that maybe I'm relatively similar to SpongeBob. I don't know. I love it. Thank you, comic dude. Very true. All made with love. Always love. Let's see what else here. John Smith, Miami A&M. What do we think now, considering last week? Prediction on that game coming out tomorrow. Miami and Texas A&M prediction coming out tomorrow. All I'll say is A&M needs this win. A&M needs this win bad. They fail to win, and things can start to spiral out of control in College Station. We just talked about that a second ago. The fact that there is a possibility, likely, probably not, but possibility that Texas A&M could start 1-5. They're 1-1 right now. And again, their next 4 games are Miami at home, Arkansas and Arlington, at Mississippi State, and at Alabama. Think about that. None of those are guaranteed wins. And they are favored right now at home against Miami, but there's a very good chance they will be underdogs in the next 3. Very crazy to think about. Sarah says, "Got to get the best. Got to get the football information from the best guy out there." So I appreciate that. So, thank you very much for that comment. And Dave, yes, she is. All right, where else are we? Matthew Hazelhorse says, I like this. People say that Texas should have won that game. Should have won, all caps. But the fact is, they did not win the game. They were supposed to win. Not supposed to initially, but once the game began. Is that not worse? It's kind of interesting there. People say, again, Texas should have won the game against Alabama, but the fact is they did not win the game they were supposed to win. Is that not worse? They were not supposed to win the game to start, right? Kickoff, no one thought Texas would be in that game. No one thought they would be close. But as the game goes on, they fail to capitalize on all their opportunities and make it worse. So it's like, hey, congrats, you played them close, but you realize how close you were? Like, to winning that game? All the missed opportunities you had to upset the number 1 team in the country? So he's right. Is that not worse? I mean, leave that up to the debates. You decide. But that's a very valid point. But that kind of goes back to a thought I've always had. Someone told me, Sam earlier was talking about how he just, he's not even an Arkansas fan, right? He's a Georgia fan. He goes, I just want to see Arkansas win the SEC West, right? Like, I just want to see someone different. Someone asked me once, what would you rather have? You get to the SEC championship game, or even let's go big. Let's go national championship, right? So let's say you are a team that rarely makes the playoff, rarely makes the national championship, and you get there. Which one's going to hurt you more? Are you going to be more upset if your team makes the national championship and plays a hard-fought game and loses in heartbreaking fashion, similar to that of Texas against Alabama, right? Or are you going to be more upset if you get to the national championship and you just get blown out? So would you rather lose the national championship, say, like 28-27, that the other team kicks a game-winning field goal as time expires to beat you? Or would you rather the national championship be over by halftime and you're done, you've lost? Which one's going to hurt you more? And there's pros and cons there. Like on the close loss side, you're like, man, that hurts so bad. We were that close to winning a natty, but God, what a game. We proved that we deserve to be there. And then when you get blown out, it's like, dang, like, I'm so sad that we lost, but, I was able to cope with it for over a half, like, hey, we laid an egg, we didn't show up. I still think we had a heck of a season. We deserve to be here. We just didn't show up the way we were supposed to. And that hurts. So you got to decide, which one would you rather want there? I think for me, I would rather have the close loss. I would rather my team makes the national championship. I don't want to be sad the whole night. Talk about a celebration and not like tonight. You got for me, Arkansas makes the national championship. I want to be celebrating. And I'm going to be happy that we're there. I don't want to turn the national championship off at halftime. I still want to believe we have a chance to win this thing. I want to believe we have a chance to hold on and get a win. So while it might be crushing to lose by a point or on a game-winning field goal, at least it shows that we deserve to be there and had one heck of a game, an instant classic. That's probably the way I'd lean, but I think some people would think differently. Logan Elliott, what's going on? Good to have you, man. Been here for the majority of our live streams. Big West Virginia fan. I am very sorry for your loss this last Saturday. 0-2 for the Mountaineers, and Neil Brown will slowly be on his way out, unfortunately. Let's see. Sam Stouffer, you're going to like my answer here. What's Arkansas's biggest trap game? BYU. Arkansas has 2 trap games, in my opinion. They're both right after Alabama. It is at Mississippi State and at BYU. Those are the 2 biggest trap games for the Razorbacks. The Mississippi State game being that because regardless of what happened against Alabama, it's a bad spot. Mississippi State should have beat Arkansas last year. Let's be honest, right? I mean, Arkansas won that game by 3. And Mississippi State missed 3 field goals, including one as time expired. Arkansas took the lead 31-28. Mississippi State marched all the way down the field like there was no defense, had a great shot to win the game or tie the game, and missed it. 3rd one of the day. So Mississippi State probably should have won that game. You look at Arkansas, though. If you beat Alabama this year, you are riding a high, and Arkansas could be the number 2 team in the country. Easily. I highly doubt that if they would put Arkansas above Georgia, someone like that. But Arkansas would be in the top 3. And then you go on the road, riding that high. It's like our mind's been set on this game for so long, and then you get popped in the mouth by a Mississippi State team that knows how to air it out, and it's pretty dang good this year in Starkville. Or you lose to Alabama, and you're devastated, and you're hungover, and Mississippi State still catches you on a low. So they're going to catch you on a high or on a low. Either one's a tough spot emotionally for Arkansas. BYU, tough game, because that game's in the middle of the year. You got an Arkansas team, playing, at that point, they will have played 3 SEC games. No, 4 SEC games. South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Mississippi State. 4 SEC games. And then they've got to go out to Provo in the middle of October, right before a bye week. The Razorbacks are going to be beaten up. They're going to have faced a lot of tough games. They could be a 1 or 2 loss team at that point, possibly. Who knows? But still a top 25, top 15 team. Maybe still top 10. Who knows? They go on the road to a good BYU team that does play very well at home. Tough environment, especially if it's at night. To me, that's a very, very big trap game for Arkansas. And that's one of those things, again, where it's like, maybe say Arkansas somehow, don't get too ahead of yourself, but somehow undefeated. They've beat Alabama. They've beat Mississippi State. They're a top 3 team in the country. BYU, maybe they're undefeated. So you got a top 10 matchup in Provo. Whoo. Man, talk about playoff implications, but also talk about trap game and a hostile environment for Arkansas. So, yeah, I would say those 2 games after Alabama really, for me, will define Arkansas' season. If you beat Alabama, you are in the playoff race, baby. You are in the hunt for that, and you need both those wins. If you lose to Alabama, you still need both those wins. You need every win you can get, but you could afford to split them. I think Arkansas, what's going to be considered a successful year for them is making a New Year's Six bowl game, right? Or just winning 9 games, right? That'd be improvement. Last year they won 8 regular season games. Winning 9 would be a step in the right direction, another improvement. But obviously they have the talent and they want more. If they want to reach that goal, let's say they lose to Alabama, they've got to either win both or split them, and that's going to be a very tall task. Let's see, who's this? Brian Donovan, do I think Ole Miss will beat Bama? No, I do not. No, I do not. First, they need to settle on a quarterback first, I can tell you that. Let's see here. Nova Dude head out. Give a shout out to Landon. Obviously, Dave and the Doggy. Hey, Doggy, no worries, man. I know the schedule's kind of tough for people to reach these live streams, but whenever you can get here, we love having you, man. We love having you. So glad to have you anytime we can. Let's see. Brady Hall, what will be the best game this weekend? Great question. Probably one that we aren't even talking about, to be honest with you. That probably a game we haven't even discussed. But the ones we have discussed, I really like. Miami, Texas A&M. I think that's going to be a better game than people think. I really like Michigan State and Washington. I think that'll be a fun game. Be a really fun game. And then obviously Oregon, BYU. I think if you're looking for a top 25 matchup or a game that pits a ranked team, in there that is probably playing a team that's about just as even as them, is Oregon and BYU. I think these two teams are really, really even. I think Oregon's gotten a bad rap. People just wrote them off because of their bad performance against Georgia. But I'm again here to say how many teams would have performed better, how many teams could have played Georgia in Atlanta in the season opener and done better than Oregon? They lost by 36. 49-3, right? Find me a team not named Alabama, Ohio State, guys like that could have gone out there and actually taken Georgia to the wire in that game. Not many. So I think people they saw that and go, oh, Oregon sucks. It was Georgia. They're the number one team in the country. Now, if BYU walks in Eugene and blows out Oregon or beats them handily, then yeah, we can say, okay, Oregon's going to have a long year under Dan Lanning. But let's pump the brakes for a second. This is the first true test for Oregon. This is really what we can see what Dan Lanning's squad's made of. And when you look at the personnel and when you look at the talent, I think they match up very well with BYU. I really do. I think BYU matches up very well with Oregon. And I think this is a game that could come down to the wire. So that probably the number one game. Again, Miami A&M will be fun. Michigan State, Washington will be fun. I'd probably put them in there as my top three. Oh, let's see here. Doggy, what is your favorite team? Is it LSU? I'm not sure if I'm right on that. I really don't know if that's right. I feel like it's LSU, but I could easily be wrong. So don't kill me if I'm wrong. But I thought it was LSU. LM, congrats on 10K. Thanks so much, man. It's been a heck of a celebration night. We've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to interact with all of you guys. So thank you. Let's see here. Spencer Shane says BYU wins by 10. And then we're going to hit comic dudes. But first, I want to give a shout out to Matthew Hazelhorst again. Love that, man. He said, I found this funny first off before I give you the more shout out. All teams that left the Big 12, Nebraska, Missouri, A&M, Colorado, all had horrendous beginnings to the season after many calling out the Big 12 as a JUCO league. Excited for Arkansas. Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the excitement for Arkansas, finally getting on board with that. But he's right. All had horrendous beginnings to the season after many called out the Big 12 as a JUCO league. Isn't that funny? Like, almost like Nebraska, Missouri, A&M, and Colorado. Like, we just used the Big 12 as a springboard to something else. Nebraska goes to the Big 10, Missouri to the SEC, A&M to the SEC, Colorado to the Pac-12. Colorado made a mistake. Going to the Pac-12, it's about to fall apart after the loss of USC and UCLA and possibly soon Oregon. Who knows if they're going to leave. But it is kind of funny how that works, right? Nebraska has been garbage. Missouri, we knew was going to struggle. A&M, 1-1, could be 1-5. Colorado, we knew weren't going to be much of anything. 1-11, 2-10 at best. So, yeah, just rough stuff, man. Very, very good point, though. I love that. Funny how that works. You keep your mouth shut. If you're a university, man, program, coach, just keep your mouth shut. I'm all for a little smack talk here and there, a little trash talk here and there, but ultimately, in the end, that stuff's going to come back to bite you. And it's one of those things, hey, if you can take it, if you can dish it out and take it, go for it. If you're not going to get all butt hurt when someone fires right back at you or uses your words against you like that, do it, man. Go for it. But if you're going to get all upset about it and cry about it and stuff like that, then you might as well just keep your mouth shut. So many people that love to dish it out, but as soon as you return fire, they shut down. They can't handle it. It's like, dude, grow a pair, Like, come on. It's ridiculous. But anyways, I love that. Thank you, Matthew, so much for your support, man. Kansas State made a good choice staying in there. I mean, didn't think they'd ever leave, right? But a good choice staying in the Big 12. And the Big 12, no longer a JUCO league. I mean, my God, they're adding BYU's coming in there. Cincinnati's coming in there. Houston, right? Houston, UCF, one of them's coming in there. I mean, they're building up that conference. Some of the better group of 5 teams that we have right now joining that conference are going to make it way more competitive. And, they'll be fine without the loss of Oklahoma and Texas. They really will. So, Thank you again, Matthew, for all your support, man. I love having you here, and thank you so much for that super chat, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Brady Hall. What do I think about Auburn? I think they can make a statement on Saturday if they beat Penn State. I think right now we don't know too much about them. I know they struggled against San Jose State last week, and that's concerning. That's a major concern, actually. So, but that happened last year against Georgia State, and Auburn bounced back, had a pretty good start first half of the year, then really tanked at the end of the year, but nearly lost to Georgia State at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So it's one of those things where it's win's a win. Win's a win. They still got it, won by 8. But they have an opportunity on Saturday to beat Penn State, a nationally ranked team. That win, of course, the media loves Auburn, would catapult them into the top 25, but can they sustain that success? Auburn has major quarterback questions. I'm not too sold on whoever's at quarterback right now, but they have a dog at running back. Tank Bigsby is unbelievable. Such a good workhorse, bruising running back, one of the best in the SEC. And as we talked about in our prediction video today, it's really a matter of Sean Clifford and the Penn State passing attack against that Auburn secondary, while also Auburn's rushing attack against the Penn State rushing defense that so far through 2 games is allowing less than 100 rushing yards per game. Now, granted, those numbers are a little skewed considering Penn State has faced Purdue, a pass-heavy team, and Ohio, who was never going to beat Penn State in Happy Valley anyway. So watch out for that game. We'll know a lot more about Auburn and Brian Harsin and what they're capable of if they beat Penn State. That's going to be the first true test and really our first good, a chance to share our true thoughts on the Tigers. Where was he? Jacob Williams says, "Go Hogs." We got a lot of Hog fans on the chat tonight. I love it. So Dave was in there. Razorback Rule was in there. Jacob Williams. We had a Hog fan from far away. That's his username, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he popped in earlier today to tell us he wouldn't be here, but all the way in France, was here yesterday morning, so that's pretty dang awesome. So loving the Razorback love. Comic Dude, who do I like more at quarterback? Evan Simon, Gavin Wimsatt, or Noah Vedral? That's a great question for Rutgers, man. That's a really good question. Simon right now is obviously the leading passer, and I think it's given the offense the biggest boost. But, what Schiano's done at Rutgers is he's kind of just done quarterback by committee. I mean, he played, all of them against Boston College, and BC didn't know what to do. Because each of them has such a very different skill set and talent, right? I mean, Vedral was the starter last year, certainly more of a passer. Wimsatt, obviously young, but does have some dual threat capability. Simon obviously has a really good arm, was very accurate. So, right now, probably Simon. Honestly, I'd probably go with Simon as my quarterback if I were Greg Schiano. But Temple's a good opportunity to even test all 3 again. They should blow out Temple. I mean, beat them 61-14 last year. Temple doesn't have much going for him. So, start Simon, see how he does. For the first half, build a huge lead, and maybe play Wimsatt for a quarter and Vedral for a quarter. I don't know. Vedral's got the most experience. That's a plus. But in terms of consistency and maybe just overall talent, Simon and Wimsatt could be better. I lean Evan Simon right now, personally, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, too, to see if Schiano finally settles on a permanent quarterback or just keeps bouncing him around. That's something I'm interested to see what he does, too. I mean, Michigan kind of did that. It started Cade McNamara week 1, J.J. McCarthy week 2, and McCarthy's going to be the quarterback now after his performance against Hawaii. But Rutgers doesn't have that luxury to do that going forward now because they're about to enter conference play. And they didn't have the luxury. BC was going to be a tough game that you couldn't play with quarterbacks at that point. You could against Wagner, you could against Temple, but then you start getting into conference play. You got Iowa, and you got Nebraska, then all the tough games, Big Ten slate. You can't screw around. You've got to have somebody. My gut says Simon, but Schiano clearly knows, obviously, not sarcastic. He knows better than me, knows more than me. Let's see here. Jerry Turner, appreciate you, my guy. Go Cuse, go Orange. Big game against Purdue. Michael Hogue isn't here tonight, but I'm sure if he was here, he definitely would still be diving into that comment and that discussion with you about Purdue and Syracuse on Saturday afternoon. So it'll be interesting there. Let's see. Doggy is a fan of BYU. I should have gotten that right. I guess you didn't tell me. I don't know. I don't know if you did. Must have been a long time ago. He goes LSU. You idiot. That's an amusing guess. So BYU. So that's awesome. You're a BYU fan. We got Cash Money is in here. He's a BYU fan. Obviously, Sam Stouffer, he was a BYU fan. So that's really cool. Look at that, man. We've got Rutgers showing out tonight. BYU showing out tonight. Arkansas is showing out tonight. We've got a Syracuse fan. We've got some Georgia fans. Pretty dang awesome. I think really diverse, nation we've got here, guys. That's another thing that we've talked about that we really enjoy. Max said he's a big Bama fan. We've had Noah from New Mexico has been on here before, a New Mexico State fan. Scotty, a Baylor fan. Sarah, a Mississippi State fan. I mean, we've got so many different people in here that come from all different parts of the country. We've got guys that have watched in France, Germany, Australia, so parts of the world, but just in the U.S., so many different parts of the country and support so many different teams. And that's really one of the things I really enjoy getting to see is, getting to see some really, really cool people in here and getting to hear your takes about your teams. We try to cover all of them. And a lot of you guys I know get really focused on your one team, and rightfully so. And it's so cool to get your different takes and just to talk about the teams that you're very passionate about. So how cool is that? But right now, I think the winners in terms of support tonight are Arkansas, Rutgers, and BYU, and we'll throw in Georgia because we got a handful of Georgia fans in here. So Arkansas, Georgia, Rutgers, and BYU. How's that for a college football playoff? How about that? Let's see here. Let's see here. Landon Atkins, A&M's offense needs to take a step up on offensive line and quarterback. I think if we are down after the first quarter, we could see Weigman or Max Johnson. And that's another thing, too, you question, right? Haynes King has one of the lowest QBRs among Power 5 quarterbacks. So will Jimbo Fisher, with the offensive struggles, decide to switch to a new quarterback? I was actually surprised that Haynes King got the job to begin with. I really thought it'd be Max Johnson. So is he going to make a change? If Haynes King does really well, he'll probably stay in. But if A&M struggles, do we switch mid-game or do they switch for the Arkansas game? Which would, of course, I'm sure many Arkansas fans would be like, great, that's our luck. Against Arkansas, they'll switch to Connor Weigman or Max Johnson, and then they'll light up the offense and Arkansas will lose. That's what they'll think, right? But it remains to be seen. Is there some sort of weird loyalty between Jimbo and Haynes King? Is he going to make that change? It really all remains to be seen. But I agree. I think a quarterback change is necessary, and the offensive line desperately needs some help because they were blown off the line of scrimmage both ways. The defensive line and the offensive line were pushed around against App State, and App State is not the most physical team and not the largest team they're going to face this year. Miami's going to be better. Arkansas is better. Really, every SEC team from a size and physical standpoint probably better than Appalachian State. If A&M couldn't handle them and allow the Mountaineers to hold the ball for nearly 45 minutes, nearly 3/4 of the game, well, could be in for a rude awakening and even worse results when they face off against these other schools like Miami and Arkansas in the next 2 weeks. All right, and as we start to wrap up the celebration, guys, I want to hit our last few comments here. We'll slowly start going over for an hour and a half now. Max Todd said he likes the Razorbacks, but not when they're playing Bama. I've been to Arkansas to watch a Bama game. Great people and fans. They treat you nice there. And that's one thing we can say. Max, we may not produce winners all the time, and we may have been god-awful for the last 10 years, but dang it, if you come to Arkansas, we're going to treat you well. Talk about Southern hospitality. We're going to give it to you. A lot of people do say that Arkansas has some of the nicest fans among the SEC. Some say in the nation. I don't know about that, but we're pretty polite. We're pretty well mannered. We don't get too hostile and cocky because, quite frankly, we haven't had a reason to be cocky or arrogant. We've been pretty bad since Bobby Petrino got in that motorcycle wreck. Anyways, but yes, I'm glad you've been able to come down, take in a game in Arkansas. It's really, really cool. And man, if you're lucky, you get to come to the Bama game this year. That's going to be just one amazing environment, man. That really is. Especially if Arkansas is undefeated going into that game. We have a top 6-7 showdown between Arkansas and Bama. That's going to be pretty insane. Talk about an atmosphere. Talk about one of the best atmospheres in the country and maybe in Razorback history. Oh, Doggy called me out. He said, I once told you in a past live stream that BYU isn't a group of 5 team. If I call them a group of 5 team, I wasn't intentional. Obviously, they're independent. They're kind of in that weird stage, right? They're not group of 5, but they're not power 5. So it's like, what, as Sam says, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of that. So, but hey, next year, you are officially Power 5. You're no longer in purgatory. You're no longer in between, right? It's waiting. You are now a Power 5 program. So you will have that. LM is a USF fan over here. I like that. How cool is that? How tough is that? That's really cool. USF. So again, I love getting some group of 5 fans in here. It's really cool. Let's see. Last few comments here. Wilburo, do I think if Quinn Ewers did not get hurt, they would have beaten Alabama? Because he had like 130 yards before he got hurt and was just going up the field on both drives. Yeah, Will, I do actually. And Will said being there personally, it took the air out of the place. And Will, yeah, we know you're actually there, and it was awesome getting to work for the University of Texas. Pretty freaking awesome. But yes, I do think the loss of Quinn Ewers definitely kept Texas from winning that game. I think had he stayed healthy, because here's the thing, Sarkisian had a great game plan. I'll give him that. He came out there, he was slinging it with Ewers. He wasn't holding back. They were aggressive on offense, and he was torching. He was torching that Alabama secondary. They were struggling to stop him and this Texas team. Then he gets hurt right there near the goal line, right there as they're about to score. And like I said, it took the life out of the stadium. So you lost some momentum with that. And I think the play calling got a little bit more conservative with Hudson Card, which I don't know why. Hudson Card, was in the mix to be the starter this year. Was the starter to start last year. When they played Louisiana, was the starter against Arkansas to start the game, and then Casey Thompson kind of took over for the rest of the year later on when Hudson Card, was unable to play. I think he got hurt at one point, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, I do think that had he stayed healthy, that they would have won the game. I do. I think the offense would have gelled a little bit more. The momentum would have stayed there. Probably wouldn't have settled for as many field goals. Had a better deep ball. So yes, again, that is another factor. We've gone over it. I mean, A&M missed the sack. They missed the safety. They missed some interceptions they could have had. They missed that chip shot field goal at the end of the first half. That was your difference maker. You go into halftime up 13-10 with momentum, the lead. You lose by 1 point. You would have had 3. Could have won by 2. So Alabama maybe needing a touchdown at the end of the game versus just a field goal. They probably don't get it. They probably don't get the touchdown. So many things change. Then you lose your starting quarterback too. So yes, I agree, Will. I do think that if Ewers had not gotten hurt, they would have defeated Alabama. And that truly, sadly, it's just part of the game. You hate to say it. It's just part of the game. But God, is it frustrating and heartbreaking. Let's see. Yes, LM, Arkansas is my team. Doggy, I have seen a YouTube video called Chad Morris, the worst coach ever. You could also replace coach with clown, and that would be just as acceptable. Jacob Williams, Arkansas fans are always nice, but don't let me see someone wearing a Western Kentucky jersey. Yes, very, very true. I feel that. Penn State has not faced a run game like Auburn, Dave says. Jordan Hare is crazy. He thinks revenge for Auburn, getting revenge for their loss to Penn State last year in Happy Valley. He said he couldn't pick a side, so he grabbed the under 49, and it continues to go lower. So, good sign, right? Should be a relatively low-scoring game. Last year combined for 48, 28-20 in favor of Penn State. Now at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn's offense isn't good enough to put that many points on the Nittany Lions. And you're right, with the home crowd and maybe a strong Auburn defense, might be able to take down Penn State. I'm having tough picking a side on that too. Penn State's about a 3-point favorite. Not sure if I'm going to end up putting that one out there. May actually take a look at that under. But yeah. I picked Penn State straight up. That's all I'm giving out right now. And I guess we'll give this the last question here as we wrap up an unbelievable Gridiron Expert celebratory live stream. And we'll touch on that right here at the end. But my last thing I want to touch on, Ty Halpern, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. What will be the national opinion on Oregon if they beat BYU? And I actually do want to answer Scott's question after that, so I want to answer this real quick. But what will be the national take on Oregon if they beat BYU? Well, it'll be the fact that people probably overreacted to that loss. Probably the fact that they overreacted to that Georgia loss. That, oh yeah, Oregon, when they started the year at number 11, they probably were worthy of that. And that, again, not many teams could handle Georgia, right? Not many teams could do it. So they beat the 12th ranked team in the country in BYU, a 12th ranked spot they deserve, unlike a previous ranked 12th team like Florida, who did not deserve their spot. They beat a rightfully ranked 12th ranked team in BYU. It shows that Oregon does deserve it, belong in the top 25. They still are in the hunt for a Pac-12 title. Not that this game is a conference game, but that they should still be taken seriously. That's the national perception for them. I think people, again, wrote off Oregon after such a bad performance against Georgia, and it was wrong of them to do that because, again, find me a team not named Alabama or Ohio State that maybe could have scored a touchdown or 2 touchdowns on Georgia. Probably not many, if any at all. So give Oregon kind of a little slack. So, yeah, that's my partake. And then, Scotty, I like that question, too. Who would I start at quarterback among Seth Russell, Bryce Petty, and Nick Florence? All phenomenal quarterbacks during their time at Baylor. Scotty, I would say my personal favorite of the 3 and the guy I think that would do the best, probably Bryce Petty. All 3 of them were unbelievable and all had different talents, but all had phenomenal arms. But I really like Bryce Petty. That would probably be my QB1 if that was my depth chart. Man, what a time for Baylor football, man. Aranda's bringing them back up. Different style for sure, but man, they were fun to watch under Art Briles. Colbert, will Anthony Richardson show up and play good versus Tennessee, coming from a Tennessee fan? Probably not. Honestly, all Tennessee has to do is shut him down in the ground game and you'll be fine. Dude can't throw. So he's very overrated. I think he's good. He's a good player. But if you shut down his ground game and force him to throw, he can't do it. We said that before the Kentucky game. We said we want to see Richardson win a game through the air. How's his passing? Can he do it? It's great if you can chunk a ball 70 yards, but if you can't do it accurately, it doesn't matter. Kentucky went in there, shut down the ground game. I think Richardson had like four total rushing yards after rushing for over 100 against Utah. If a defense shuts him down, keeps him in the pocket, forces him to throw, I don't think he can win the game for Florida. He's got to work on that. But we saw a prime example of that last week against Kentucky. So will he show up and play well against Tennessee? Well, the game's at Tennessee, right? So hostile environment. Tennessee shuts down the run? No, he will not. So congrats, Cole. I mean, I picked Tennessee to win that game in the offseason, and definitely sticking with that as of right now. That will be taking Tennessee to take down Florida here in a few weeks. And with that, guys, I think we will wrap it up. I think that's what we'll call a night, right? Man, what a night, too. Let's pop up that graphic again real quick. It's fun. Boom. 10,000 subscribers. And we've been on for almost 2 hours tonight, talking, not only rehashing the journey to get to this point, but obviously how grateful and thankful we are for every single one of you. And again, just rehashing that this point and this milestone wouldn't have been possible without you guys. The guys that have been there, as some said, since 2000, the guys that have been there since the beginning when we first launched this and we were just a baby channel, had a couple hundred subscribers. From the guys that have been there since then, the guys that joined yesterday, the guys that are going to join later after watching this stream. It really, for us, it doesn't matter when you have joined. We as we always say, we are building relationships and we are building a community here at the Gridiron Expert. That's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. And we're doing that because you guys are active, you're commenting, you show up to the streams, you're supportive. And again, we don't reach 10,000. We don't get the super chats. We don't get the expert picks. We don't get the things like that without you. We just don't. And we probably would not be sitting here right now without you. And we probably would not have been doing this for the last 6 or 7 years or however long it's been without you. So again, from the bottom of my heart, guys, I want to thank you all so very much for showing up for this celebration, guys. Hopefully, it will not be too much longer until we have another big celebration, right? Whether that be 15,000, 20,000, whatever. There are so many more milestones to come and milestones that I know that in time we are going to hit because we have the best fan base on YouTube. We've got the GE Nation on our side, a nation and a family united by one thing, and that is college football. So guys, again, just a major thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for a phenomenal night. Thank you for coming out celebrating with us. Max Todd, Colbert, thank you so much. The first college football channel he followed, and by far the favorite. How about that? That That's pretty freaking awesome right there. Unbelievable. So Cole, thank you so much. Max, thank you. Steven, very much. Thank you so much for your support. Matthew Hazelhorst, LM, the Notorious, DOD, congrats. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Scotty, Eddie, Sarah, DM, Jerry. I'm going to try to hit as many of these guys as I can. Will Burrow, Dave, of course. Dave and Cash Money. Thank you so much for that. Sam Stouffer, Sam, George's DM. The guy runs all the college football guys. We appreciate you. But again, Dave, Cash Money, CCD, Comic Dude, Will, Walter, Doggy, all of you guys so much. Robert Sharpton, Landon Atkins, Brady Hall, Clement, Danzers, Matthew, Brian, Austin, has everybody else that maybe I have missed. I want to thank all of you guys again so much. Flo, Sam Stouffer, all of you so much again to show up tonight, and again for your continued support, not just tonight, but for the last few years or however long you've been a part of our GE Nation. So thank you all so much again. We'll be right back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Not a big 10,000 celebration, but we will be back talking about college football and taking a deeper dive into week 3. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for our Miami, Texas A&M prediction video. That'll come out tomorrow at 1 before our live stream. So we got plenty of videos and live streams left ahead for you for this week. But tonight, a very special night, and one definitely that we will not forget 100%. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow right here on the Gridiron Expert. Good night, everyone.